Hi, my name's Courtney. I'm from Kansas. I just finished my week-long neuro-intensive program here at Northwest Functional Neurology, and I don't have any more POTS symptoms. I decided to come out here after having some issues about 6 months ago. I was at work and I was really struggling with fatigue, and I had been struggling with fatigue for a while, but just kind of always pushed through. But it started, I started getting brain fog really bad. One day it was so bad that I couldn't even figure out how to open my computer. Everything was moving really slow, time was distorted. It was a pretty crazy experience. I didn't really know what to do, and I actually just ended up walking out of work, which isn't something that I would normally do. So I end up getting home, and by that point I realized that my heart is beating pretty crazy and pretty hard. Talked to my husband, barely. I couldn't even hardly speak actually at the time. I couldn't even really form sentences. End up going to the emergency room. They say my heart rate's really high. They pumped me full of some fluids and they put me on a heart pill. And that was it. Nobody said anything else to me. And I'm like, I'm in my early 30s. Why am I on a heart pill? So really struggled after that. Symptoms did get a little bit better, but I just struggled to function. I had a lot of dysregulation, my heart rate would go crazy, never felt rested, was chronically fatigued, had a hard time, I would get so confused that I would just kind of blank out and stop talking, or couldn't, again, put words into sentences. I was forgetting things all the time. I would drive my son to daycare, and it's a route that I would take every single day. And I would be in the town, the next town over, before I realized that I totally missed my turn to take him to daycare. I was having a lot of issues, but the cognitive issues were the worst. I finally started putting pieces together when the tachycardia syndrome kicked in with the fast heart rate, and I came upon POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Looked at all the symptoms, and it really described what I was experiencing. Saw a cardiologist. They did all the tests, said everything's normal, and then just kind of sent me on my way. And I was like, I'm not normal. This is not how I normally feel. I did a lot of research. I almost became obsessed with what was going on because I didn't want to feel this way anymore. I didn't want to function this way. My relationship was suffering. My husband wanted me to get better, but I was just tired all the time. I wasn't happy. I couldn't do the things that I used to be able to do, and everyday things were a struggle. I didn't like who I was as a mom. I loved my kids, but they overwhelmed me very quickly, and I just felt like I was surviving every single day. And I just didn't want to keep living like that. I wanted to live my life. I knew what I was capable of doing, but for some reason I just couldn't push past that. So I did a lot of research. I knew that POTS was a dysfunction of your autonomic nervous system. So I narrowed it down to neurology, or someone who was going to look at my brain and not my heart and my stomach and all these other areas where I was having problems. I don't know, I think after that, once I narrowed it down to neurology, I just did Google searches and came across Northwest Functional Neurology. Watched some videos, honestly did some research to see if there was anybody closer that seemed to have the same expertise, and I didn't really find much at that time. So I just went out on a limb. At the time, actually, I was getting to the point that I couldn't work. I'm a mental health therapist that works in a prison, and blanking out and not being able to form sentences doesn't help me do my job. was pretty depressed, thinking, I'm going to be disabled yet not be able to get any sort of disability. Plus, I don't want to stay home all the time. Like, I want to be able to do all these things. So was off work and decided, well, I'm just going to have to go all in, I need to find somebody who knows how to fix this, because honestly, when you get diagnosed with POTS, they just say, we don't know what causes this. We don't really have any treatment. We can kind of manage the symptoms, which I did do for a while, but managing the symptoms is like, it kind of works on a really, really, really good day. Like, everything goes perfect and nothing's upsetting and it's not hot outside and you don't have a stressful day. You got enough sleep, you ate everything perfectly, and then you might have a normal day. But other than that, it doesn't give you any sense of a normal or happy, productive life at all. So yeah, I just decided to go all in. I was like, I'm gonna lose out on so much more not figuring this out and just kind of accepting that this is what my life is going to look like, in my 30s. Or I'm going to keep trying, and I'm going to go somewhere to someone who seems like they kind of have an idea of what's going on and not just trying to help you live with the symptoms, like actually trying to fix what's going on. I believed that it was fixable because I wasn't always this way. Like, there's something going on, and I at least wanted to get to the bottom of that, or find someone who could get closer than what anybody else had told me. So, yep, went all in, came out here. I've been out here for a little over a week. It's been great. I don't really know how it worked, but it started working, and it started working quickly. After the first full day of treatment, I started noticing some differences. Just feeling less nauseous, my heart rate not being crazy, not being so fatigued. By day 2, I came out of my mental fog. Like, my brain started working, it started clicking, like I felt clear. And honestly, I felt like myself. Like, I was like, this is me, this is the person that was underneath all that, brain fog, all those cognitive problems. It's like I came right back out, and it felt amazing. And then I was getting excited because whatever they were doing, it was working. I don't know how it was working, but it was working. One of the issues that I struggled with the most was I would crash anytime that I ate, and I had learned to not eat during the day because otherwise I couldn't get anything done. I would have to wait till right before bed to eat anything, and even then I knew it was going to make me feel sick, and I knew I was going to crash. So one of the first things I noticed is eating a meal and having energy after I ate a meal. Like, I could sit there and talk with the other people that I was eating with and be in a good mood and not have to adjust to that or make excuses for why I couldn't stay or why I had to go lay down. And it was kind of funny because I told Dr. Mahul about that, and every day I came in, he asked me, what did you eat today? And would get so excited for me because I could eat and enjoy it. And I was excited to eat because for so long eating, I dreaded it, but I had to do it. And that's such a normal part of living, and I got that back. But each day just got better and better, and I've kind of joked around with them that I feel normal again. I feel back to where I was before I got sick. And if this just keeps getting better after I leave, then I'll be an upgrade. I'll be better than I was before, which is pretty exciting. So the last thing I think that I would want anybody to know is if you're struggling with similar issues, you don't have to settle for someone saying like this is just what your life is going to be. That there are people out there that have knowledge about some of these things, even if the typical regular medical practice doesn't know those things or don't acknowledge them. Like there's out here they have some answers to things that other people say there aren't answers to. And so you don't necessarily have to accept that this is your new life, that if you're willing to take a chance and get some other opinions, try some different treatments, listen to some people that don't just give you those typical answers, then this is the place to come. I was kind of scared of all the logistics of how I was going to make this work, but then when I sat down and thought about how am I going to make the rest of my life work if I don't figure this out, that scared me even more. And I called out here, and one of the doctors talked to me, and they answered my questions, and the front office staff kind of helped me figure out a little bit of the financial piece, and it all fell together. And I can't imagine, honestly, cannot imagine what my life would be like if I didn't just take that chance and come out here, because it is the best decision I've ever made. I know that sounds weird, but I wouldn't have been able to keep working. I probably wouldn't have been able to keep my relationship, because it's hard to live with someone who's not themselves, and I wouldn't have been the mom that I wanted to be. And I get to be that again, and I'm so excited. So if you think that this is a risk worth taking, then making the call and coming out here is probably one of the best decisions you'll ever make.